We're here in July, and people are saying, all right, well, what's happening with real estate? Obviously, we're in the middle of summer, so what's going on? Is it hot? Is it cold? What trends are we seeing? So I'm going to talk through some of that, and we're going to see some trends that are coming for later this year and see how that might affect the real estate market. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talk Real Estate. I'm your host, Mark Cannon, local realtor here in the Phoenix area with my home group real estate and owner of the Benchmark Real Estate team. So this is a podcast format, guys, where I just talk. I don't try to edit things. I'm just trying to be real with you guys, help you understand information. And we're going over the July market update. But before we get into that, I want to say Happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. That is when this video is releasing, not recording. Today, I'm recording the day before, and I just actually posted a really funny meme where it's George Washington on a horse and it says, "Have fun at work tomorrow, England." So yeah, celebrate July 4th, blow some stuff up, eat some good food, good times. But we're going over the July market update. What's changed? So there are some changes, and we need to talk through them because there are some trends that are going to go towards next year, or the end of the year, really. And so we're going to talk through some of that. So we're going to start where we always start. How many homes are on the market? Now, last month, we were just under 26,000 homes on the market. This month, we're just over 25,000. So we've come down some. Now, part of that is demand is still about where it's been. Now, listings have slowed down. And I was trying to get some data on that, and I couldn't get to download. But if I can, I'll throw it on the screen. But if not, I'll do it later. But it's one of those that we've seen. July is usually a slower month here because it's really hot. It's 115, 117 here in the valley. So people don't necessarily want to move in July. So to me, July and December is usually some of the slowest months in the year. So it's one of those that, to me, inventory's come down a little bit. Maybe our listings have kind of slowed down, but demand has stayed about the same. Now, interest rates have not. So we're going to talk through the interest rates real quick, show you what that looks like. So when you look at like a conventional loan, we're sitting about 6.75. Now, we had come down to about 6.65. 6.67, I think. And then we went up to 6.75. And then FHA, I believe right now is just below 6.3. Yeah. So interest rates have come down some, and that's good. And I think the trends we're seeing, they're going to come down more as we get towards the end of the year. Now, a lot of people say, oh, the Fed's holding it up, all this stuff. And listen, I understand why the Fed's not lowering interest rates yet. And some people say, what are you talking about? And listen, I'm not trying to be political by any means. But when you look like, for instance, inflation. So I'll show you the inflation numbers real quick. Inflation went up in May. Now, we don't have the June data yet. That'll come out middle of this month. But we went up. It was 2.4, 2.3, and then went up to 2.4 again. Jerome Powell and what they're doing now, again, remember, mortgage interest rates aren't controlled by the Fed. It's the 10-year Treasury that kind of dictates that. So it's not exactly the same. There's some correlations, but it's not run by the Fed. The Fed doesn't want to lower the interest rates because of their turmoil with tariffs and stuff like that. I think a lot of that's going to be worked out. I think that'll be figured out, and I think they will start lowering interest rates. A lot of the people I listen to are starting to think that, hey, I think towards the end of this year, we're going to see the low sixes for conventional loan. That would be great. If we can get in the high fives, I'd take that. So we're going to probably start seeing it come down. We just saw it this past week come down some. We'd been hovering around 7%. And now we're down at like 6.75. Okay, that's good progress. Let's keep coming down. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be in the low sixes. Best case scenario would be we're in the high fives. But I would think that we'll probably be in the low sixes by the end of the year based on the trends. Unless something drastic happens that changes things, I think we're going to see that moving that way. But one of the things that a lot of people are talking about is the market stale. And it is. It's a buyer's market here. I know people want to say it's not in certain parts. And sure. Paradise Valley, maybe. Chandler, maybe not. But most markets are either balanced at the best or buyer's markets. I'll tell you right now, I can negotiate a ton. If people are willing to be patient, I can negotiate a good amount. I got somebody a new roof. I got somebody a big price reduction and paid off the solar. If you're willing to be patient, you can get good deals in this market. But you got to be willing to be patient, and you have to be able to buy right now. Not everybody can buy right now, and I don't encourage everybody to buy right now. Because if you can't, it's totally understandable. Wait and save money until you can. But I think we're going to see prices slowly keep coming down, and then interest rates are going to keep coming down, and then eventually it's going to probably level out. Because to me, we're in a correction. We're not crashing. This is a correction from what I'm seeing. And with the correction, we're seeing prices slowly come down. Now, I had found an interesting stat. I'll show to you. And this is a chart I got from Buffini and Company of U.S. housing prices. If you look at this chart from 1950 till now, there have been 7 years where it was a negative equity growth. Now, realize, I say this all the time. Real estate is local. It's not national, but these are national numbers, so I do put that out there. These are national numbers, so this isn't Arizona. This is national numbers. But I still believe real estate is local, not national. But look at these national numbers. 7 years since 1950. So how many years is that? 74 years? 74 years? I can do math. Look at me. But 74 years, we've only had 7 negative years of growth. That's crazy. I hadn't seen this, and I was recently listening to a seminar, and I was like, holy cow. Like, that's crazy that's the stats, and you see it going up. And yeah, of course, 08, 09, those were bad years. I would think this year would be a negative year, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's a very, very small growth, because there's a couple of these years you can see them, like 1982, 0.6%. 1958, 0.7, 1959, 0.1. So some of those are very small years, but you look at, I was surprised to see last year was 4%. I thought it'd be lower than that. I thought it'd be like 0.7. So it's one of those that this is what the stats are showing as far as home values. Now, do I think, oh man, we're about to grow 20% in the next 5 years? I'm not saying that, okay? I think there is a lot of unaffordability. I think that has to get corrected in a lot of ways. But I think what we're seeing somewhat from the government stuff is they're trying to get wages to increase. They're starting to try and do that. They're trying to get things to be more affordable. Now, whether that works, we'll see. But I can see what they're trying to do. And hopefully it works, and that things get more affordable for people. I think we're going to still see a correction here in Phoenix, where we're going to see home prices still come down. And people are starting to feel it, where they're like, man, we're sitting on the market 60, 90, 120 days. We need to lower the price. We need to get out from under it. And people are chasing the market, and you can get good deals. So we're seeing those trends. And I would think early next year is when this starts leveling out. That's just me here in Phoenix. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I'm feeling just based off what I'm looking at. Now, it could be sooner, it could be later. And it depends on what happens with interest rates, what happens with the economy. So there's a lot of things still up in the air. But if you are thinking about selling or buying, I would love to talk with you. Because again, I'm a real estate through relationships. It's not about transaction. I'm here to do what's best for you. So like if I sit down with you and you're a buyer and you're not ready to buy yet, I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to say, hey, you're not ready to buy it. But if you are, let's talk through the strategies of what we could do to get you there. If you're thinking about selling, let's definitely talk through the strategies. Go watch some of my other videos I released for sellers, because you need to understand this market and what's going on. So I would love to talk with you. My information's below. I hope you'll reach out if you are interested. Guys, I appreciate you listening. I hope you have a happy 4th of July. You've been listening to Real Talk Real Estate. I'll catch you next time.